The reason it got so tight in here, the reason it got so tight on this thing.
Tim, go ahead.
Be quick, Charlamagne, because I know you care a lot about the Supreme Court.
He really does.
Absolutely.
I want you to ask your question, but I'll be very quick and introduce Officer Harry Dunn, who recently ran for Congress out of Maryland. Better known as a superhero.
He is a superhero.
You may recognize him. We saw him a lot during the impeachment hearing.
Yeah.
But where we first met him was on that fateful day, January 6th. When you saw somebody out there throwing bows out there handling folks, and I love you, and I think you are an American hero, and it is our honor to have you tonight. So we're definitely going to get to you, but I do want Charlamagne, because Charlamagne has asked about the Supreme Court several times, so I'm curious to hear Charlamagne's question and Ellie's answer.
Well, no, it's just a narrative that I'm seeing. Like, the more people call out the Supreme Court, they say that people are only calling out the Supreme Court now because it has a conservative majority. Right. So could you tell us why it doesn't matter what the party majority is, it's what they're actually doing?
Yeah, so there are two answers to that question. One, yeah, I hate their decisions, and I'm willing to do anything I can to stop them because their decisions are taking away rights. I don't run away from saying, like, I'm mad at the current Supreme Court. But what the higher ideal here, right, is that the Supreme Court as a whole has too much power. And I'd be saying that if it was a Democratic Supreme Court or a Republican Supreme Court, because the people in the system that are supposed to have the power are the voters.
That's right.
And the Supreme Court comes over the top of the voters and tells us what we're allowed to vote for, what we're allowed to believe, what we're allowed to pass legislatively. And that was never the intention. So my last answer to your question, Federalist 78. So the Federalist Papers are like the John Adams and Alexander Hamilton writing about what the Constitution is supposed to be, right? There is one Federalist paper about the Supreme Court. It's called Federalist 78. And in the Federalist 78, Alexander Hamilton says the Supreme Court should be the least dangerous branch of government because it has neither the power of the purse, that means it can't raise taxes, or the power of the sword, that means it doesn't have an army. The next time Alexander Hamilton would be as wrong, he'd be firing his gun up into the air in New Jersey.
Damn.
Wow.
That's how wrong that man was, right? And so we need to get back to a, dare I say, conservative, dare I say, founding principle of the Supreme Court not being up our ass the entire time.
Damn.
That's what I'm saying.
Ellie?
That's
I gotta
real.
go. Can I say one more thing?
Okay.
Yes.
Officer Dunn. So I've been at this convention. A lot of people have asked to take my picture. I've asked to take my picture with 2 people. And one of them was Officer Dunn.
Aww.
Thanks for bringing us that.
Thank you, Ellie.
Thank you, Ellie.
Ellie, before you came up, Ellie, I saw you picking out your afro. You definitely gonna have to do it when you take these headphones off.
Yes.
But I am so grateful for you. You know it. We love you, brother. We love your passion. Absolutely, every time.
Thank you, Ellie.
And then, Tiff, I know you have another special guest you'd like to bring up.
Yes, please. So also on that day, on January 6th, Officer Dunn was joined in your wonderful service. I'll help you with your headset. And I don't want to mispronounce your name, so tell us how to say your last name.
Aquilino Gonell.
Aquilino Gonell.
Just break it down.
Aquilino Gonell.
Thank you. And you also had a harrowing testimony during the impeachment hearings as well. So I just can't say enough how we are so thrilled to be joined by 2 American heroes that day. And I want to kick it off with you, Harry, because first of all, I love how when you would come on my show, I would see you on other shows, and when you finally made your way to my show.
Stop. Hold on. She kept saying she was trying to get me booked, but I never got the message. So as soon as I heard, I said, let's do it. Sign it up. Easy.
He came on immediately, but it was a whole different. You kept it a buck with me all the time. So
always
I want to ask you now, you know firsthand, you were literally on the front lines wishing the MF would, okay? And you let a few people know. What are you most concerned about with this election cycle? And do you think that there is potential to see more political violence? I know we're keeping hope and talking, a lot of positivity, but this is a real situation that exists out there with people who are disproportionately armed to the rest of us. What do you think about it? What are your thoughts?
Let's talk about it. Accountability. Well, first of all, on January 6th, I did my job as a police officer.
That's right.
On January 7th, I did what I'm doing now to this day as an American citizen who loved this country. It wasn't even about Capitol Police from then to now. And I was fighting for accountability for everybody responsible for the downfalls of those days, including Donald Trump. Accountability serves 2 purposes. For the people who were aggrieved, who they felt some type of harm, it provides some type of closure for them. And also, it serves as a deterrent That hasn't happened yet. Yeah. So what's to keep it from happening again? The Supreme Court, as Ellie was just talking about, they just said Donald Trump cannot be held accountable for his actions
immunity.
that day.
Yeah, that's right.
Right? So what is to stop him from doing it again? If you remember in the debate with Joe Biden, they asked him 3 times, will you commit to accepting the results of the election? He couldn't answer it.
That's right.
So he's planting the seeds already to his supporters for the doubt. And that's what January 6th was about. It was about a lie. They thought he told his followers, his cultists, that the election was stolen. And that's all they needed. If the most powerful person in the world tells you, go march on the Capitol, then you going to go do it. I mean, my mama tell me do anything. I'm empowered. Can't nobody tell me do nothing. Right. So imagine the most powerful man in the world saying, go do it. You're going to feel empowered to do it. So he's already planting those seeds. And yes, to answer your question, yes, it can happen again, and there's nothing really stopping it from happening again.
But us.
Yeah, but us.
Yeah,
hello.
What did y'all think was happening on that day when everything first started, occurring?
I mean, at first we thought that it was going to be nonviolence. There was little skirmishes, like we normally do from time to time, but not to the level that the very same president who's supposed to have the well-being of the country put in jeopardy the safety of every elected official inside the Capitol. And then not only did he do that, then he sat on his behind and not do anything to prevent any further violence. When I was in the tunnel fighting with a mob, with roughly 30 to 40 officers side by side, shoulder to shoulder, fighting, holding down the line in the tunnel, I was asking myself this very same question. What the heck is the president? And I'm using that with a less colorful word.
Say, what the fuck? What the fuck is the president?
What the fuck is the president? I didn't know if I could curse or not.
Yes.
But in my mind, I was like, what the fuck is the president? Where is our help? Where is our reinforcement? Because this happened in broad daylight, 16 blocks away from the Capitol. Me as a military person, as a veteran, as somebody who went to combat, and I know the chain of command. The chain of command ends at and begins with the commander-in-chief. Who was the commander-in-chief that day? Donald Trump.
Yep.
What did he do? He put everybody inside the building, including the officers, at life at risk. And we protected your elected official, whether you were from Georgia or California or New York. We protected the same.
Yeah.
I didn't care whether it was AOC or Marjorie Taylor Greene. I didn't care.
Yeah.
We protect them both the same. And to hear that today there's a report that he's planning to do a gala.
Y'all see that?
For the January 6th sister riders.
A gala.
Awards gala for January 6th.
For next month.
Yeah, next month.
For next month. Not for the officers who risked their lives.
Yeah.
Because they claim that we are the party of law and order. We are the party that support the rule of law. We are the party that support the police. How is that supporting the police if you are celebrating and not denouncing the violence that people did to the officers?
Yeah.
People died, and that's what I did last night. I tried to convey that in my speech last night because, look, my story is not is something that everybody should know. I'm literally the embodiment of the type of immigrant that the Republicans say that they want in this country. And ask me how many of elected official Republicans have talked to me about what happened to me on January 6th. 2. Liz Cheney and Adam Kinzinger.
Yep.
Wow.
Nobody else. I had passed a lot of them, and none of them even can get themselves to say, I'm sorry for what happened to you. Now that I'm asking, thank you for what you did. Look, I came here when I was 12. I'm sorry, I came here when I was 12. I struggled first, with family, with adapting, assimilating. But I overcome those things.
Yes.
I got an education. I joined the military. I went to fight for this country overseas when my government told me to. Whether I liked it or not, I did my job there. I kept my duty, my oath. When I came back, I finished my education, and then I became a Capitol Police officer, where I was for 17 years until the injuries that people that claim they love police officers agree with me. They damaged my body, damaged my health, damaged my career, and then they had the audacity to tell me, I did it for you. And then they call me, you are a traitor because you stopped me and my people, like-minded people like me, that support Donald Trump.
Well, you're certainly not a traitor. Neither of you. You are heroes. And even if Donald Trump won't tell you thank you, we thank you for your service. And I know that you guys have to. We have to go. We have Kamala Harris's campaign manager has to go.
Can I just one quick question?
Okay, Lenard.
I just want to know, how did y'all show restraint and not turn it into a bloodbath? Because y'all could have easily just pulled out your gun.
I don't even know if it was about restraint, man. It was just about survival, man. I was armed that day with a long gun, an AR-15. The guns that we don't need on them streets, right?
Yeah.
They know they're the ones that we don't need on the streets anymore. But I wasn't going down in a crowd of. You go in there, you pull your gun out. Our former chief wrote a book. We were outnumbered 58-1. You pull your gun out, then what? Which one you gonna shoot?
Right.
Who do you shoot first? You can't just fire indiscriminately. And I think that just shows the professionalism of what police should be.
Wow.
What police should be.
Wow.
Not just in there busting because somebody come up a pot of hot water.
Look, we were justified to use lethal force. We chose not to because we didn't know who had weapons on their side.
Yeah.
And in my belief, when I faced that decision, because I almost did, especially when they were dragging, whatever happened to Fanon relieved me. And when I got a chance to go back into the fight, people were trying to pull me into the crowd. And I didn't do it because somebody else another officer hit the person who was dragging me. That damaged my shoulder. By then, I was hurt and injured. Look, we were justified to use lethal force.
Yeah.
What we didn't want to do was create a bigger situation that we already outnumbered anyway.
Yeah.
Look.
It would have been a real bloodbath.
Yeah, that's the best way to say
If
it.
you want to hear more about our story, Harry Dunn has that dude right there.
Yeah.
Oh, shameless plug. We wrote books.
He has a book called Standing My Ground.
Yes.
I have a book telling my story, the immigrant story, the sergeant's the military story, and the police officer story. My book is called American Shield, the immigrant sergeant who defended democracy.
Thank you, guys.
I also just published a website where you guys could learn a little more about myself and the sacrifices that I had done to this country.
Thank you so much.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you for your service, man. We're so grateful for your service. Thank you so much.
Absolutely.
Thank you, Harry.
I'm hugging you. I'm not taking your hand.
You should play Suge Knight in all the future biopics, man.
Thank you guys so much.